A few days before the Battle of Anzio, to the east, the Allies were also at a point of stagnation in the town of Cassino, home of the famous monastery, the Monte Cassino.
Monte Cassino was a big monastery. The Allies suspected that it was being used as an artillery spotting post. It was the high ground. In one of the most controversial decisions of the war, they decided to bomb Monte Cassino, which they proceeded to do, and they reduced the monastery to rubble.
Repeated pinpoint artillery attacks from the top of the ridge that housed the historic monastery made the U.S. believe the Germans were hiding behind this landmark, and the fear of bombing the abbey was preventing the breaching of German lines. On the morning of February 11, 1944, the order was given to destroy the famous building. In the aftermath of the bombing, it was found that no German military units were housed in the monastery. And in fact, the Germans had agreed they would not use the abbey for military purposes. But since it was destroyed, the German military moved into the ruins and used the position against the Allied forces.
If you talk to historians and the Germans and some of the civilians that were there, I would say the consensus was no, they weren't using it as an artillery spotting position. I think the thing that, afterwards, like I told you before, you have to judge a decision or an action in context of time and place. Outside of that time and place, it can look entirely different. But you have to remember that someone had to make a decision. And Monte Cassino was one of those where they had to make a different decision. I mean, the Americans had made a decision very early on in the war. They didn't want to destroy the cultural resources of a country. They went to great lengths not to. Unlike the Germans, their record on destroying, historical buildings and artifacts is notorious. But the Americans were totally against it. In fact, I would say it cost many, many lives avoiding doing that. And Monte Cassino was an exception. I don't think it was a decision that was taken lightly, but I think it was taken for the right reason, which was, to reduce the effectiveness so they believed that the German artillery that was falling on the Allied forces. And it was just one of those decisions that was made, and unfortunately, maybe not the best one now, but at the time it was the best that the guy could do.
Finally, on May 17th, members of the Polish Army Corps were able to break through the German lines and capture the city. Simultaneously, the U.S. and British forces at Anzio attacked the Germans and at long last broke through their lines as well. With these victories, the road to Rome was now wide open.